Welcome, everyone, to yet another episode of the Beard Al Podcast, the podcast about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. And I need to start off by saying I lied to you. That was not a beer can crack. That was the can crack of a premium polar seltzer. But that's because we're talking about the song Lasagna. So I'm having a nice red wine to go with the Italian food, you see. Yes.
Yeah.
But keen listeners will note that there was another voice that happened just now. And that is the voice of somebody who has never been on this show before, which hasn't happened in quite some time. And so I'm very excited for it. Actually, most of the rest of this album is people that have never been on the show before. So I'm super jazzed about it. But Justin, first of all, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And because I'm terrible at introducing people, I'm going to let you jump into the spiel of who you are, what you do, and what qualifies you to talk about Weird Al with me.
Sure. Yeah. So my full name is Justin Remer, R-E-M-E-R. It's reversible. It's a palindrome.
Oh, it is.
It's like the song Bob. And basically, I'm here because I wrote a book in the 33 1/3 series on Weird Al Yankovic in 3D. The 33 1/3 series is a bunch of pocket-sized books. Actually, I have one right here, the new one on Violent Femmes. It's just like a small pocket-sized book about single albums. And let me gently move that back. It's one of the things, like once a year, they do an open call and anyone can pitch any album. They have a form you have to like it's like 15 pages of writing to be like, this is why I should write this book. And I did it multiple times. And then finally I was like, what does the series not have? And it doesn't have any comedy. So I was like, well, if there's no comedy, there's got to be Weird Al. And clearly they agreed with me. And so they approved my pitch to write about in 3D. And now it's due to come out around Thanksgiving time.
That's fantastic. I'm very excited for that. I fancy myself kind of a collector of the tome of Weird Al, people that have written about or with him or sometimes both. So I am very excited to add yet another thing to my bookshelf of Weird Al related material. And
nice.
Just so you're aware, and that this is a thing that may happen that you may never have crossed your mind. In the spring of 2027, because they asked me if I wanted to do it in fall of 26 or spring of 27, I will be teaching a class about parody and remix culture. At the University of North Florida. And so I may pull your book out to be like, hey, check this out.
I mean, yeah, we're published by Bloomsbury Academic, so it's academic. It's right there.
Heck yeah. Yeah, you're going to be right alongside the likes of Nathan Rabin and Lily Hirsch and their whole thing about Weird Al. So I'd like to I like to establish my ethos as much as possible and my credibility when I'm talking about this stuff. So you're going to add to that. I'm so excited to have it. And I'm excited to have you here. And I'm excited to talk about this song. But you're doing something now that most of my guests don't do regularly anymore. You are playing into the beer part of the Beard Al podcast. So tell me what you're drinking.
Yes. So this was literally me coming home from work and being like, you know what, it would be nice to have a beer, and just finding what's there. And it kind of fits. It's a Stone Buena Vesa lager. So it's a Mexican style lager with salt and lime added. So adding into the Los Lobos of it's Mexican American beer. And I'm going to crack it now. Let's see.
All right. Oh, there you go. And you know what? You're going to give me an excuse to hit one of my sound bites.
I had to pop myself a beer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I don't hit that one all that much anymore. It seems like self-indulgent to hit it every time I crack a beer. But I like to get people with it if I can.
Yeah.
So I got
you. Well, you did give me almost a spit take. Here's the secret that I do like fess up in the book is that I wrote about it in 3D because it's so essential to Al's career and like just the breakout of him in the mainstream. But my favorite album of his is a little bizarre to people, but my favorite album of his is UHF.
Oh.
So the fact that little bit came from UHF, I was like, perfect.
It's a mancha. You could not be any better than this. Yeah, well, if this goes well, maybe I'll invite you back to talk about a track on UHF. Yeah, but that's not going to be for a little while. That's the one of the things about having a show that comes out every other week is it takes a long time to get through an album, but it's all right. It adds to
it's great.
the mythos of the Beard Owl podcast, as it were, I guess. So anyhow, we are actually kicking off side 2 of Even Worse with this episode. And Lasagna is the opening track of side 2 of Even Worse, Weird Al's 1988 masterpiece. And this song is weird for me because Even Worse doesn't have a polka, and this feels like an excuse to use the accordion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are your initial opening thoughts about Even Worse? How do you feel like it stands up with the other parodies on the album?
So, Even Worse is the first Weird Al album I heard in its entirety. Like I think I was 7 when it came out. And I feel like I probably had heard Eat It or something before, but so this is the first time I heard a whole album, and I loved it. I think Lasagna is the kind of thing that was absolutely perfect for me when I was 7 years old, and now just feels very silly, but I appreciate the music. So the lyrics feel very like I'm kind of like, because that's the thing is like Al can be quite deep, and this song is absolutely not deep, but it's very fun.
Yeah, no, totally. And I feel like it's a great way to open side 2 because La Bamba in and of itself, right? Just for those keeping score at home, this is a parody of La Bamba as recorded by Los Lobos to pair up with the La Bamba, the movie, right?
Yeah, from the soundtrack.
From the soundtrack.
So I also at the same time I was loving the movie La Bamba. Like I remember watching it on VHS. It might be my first ever music biopic. So it's imprinted on me. And I told you that I was maybe going to rewatch it, and I did. And I pretty much cried the whole movie.
Oh no.
Maybe I was going through something else, but I was just like, God, this is so good. And it's so sad about Richie. And then, but one of the things that's great about Los Lobos, because the soundtrack got me into Los Lobos, is they're the rare rock band with an accordion. Because they also play corridos, which is very akin to the polka. And I can't help but think that Al heard the accordion in the Los Lobos version and was like, let's go whole hog. Let's go full steam ahead with the accordion.
Yeah. Again, because this album was missing the polka, so it needed something with the accordion, and in the vein of everything else that's happening on this album, it feels very timely for him to be doing this because I believe it was Insane Ian who has kind of coined this the parody of covers album.
Yeah.
Right. And that's definitely what this is, because La Bamba, obviously, Richie Valens song from, that, and just it was a standard song to begin with. Right?
Yeah, it was a folk song. Although I think there is a scene in the deleted scenes where it turns out that Tommy Shondell showed Richie Valens the song. So this is really the Tommy No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Right.
But just because, what Tommy James and the Shondells, I screwed it up. But that's what I meant. Yeah. Anyhow,
that's great.
Tommy Shondell, whatever. You get it. You get the joke.
We know what you're talking about. The joke still stands. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, it's a folk song that Richie Valens. It was the B-side to Donna, which is sort of his love song to his girlfriend. But it's one of those things both sides got so much airplay that La Bamba became the first, is the Despacito of the 50s, basically.
Yeah, for real. And I'm not going to go off on this tangent, but you just got me thinking about tracks with where the B-side was a thing that took off. Famously, Bill Haley in his Comets, Rock Around the Clock was the B-side as well. And that that's what ended up taking off. And sidebar, my husband will die on the hill that the guitar solo in Rock Around the Clock is the greatest guitar solo in all of rock and roll. And I would tend to agree. Like, I think everybody kind of learned from that. But so why does this parody work so well?
I think that, well, it's interesting because like it's one of the rare ones because he decided to go in a slightly different direction. That it's a little more freer and it gives him a little more room to be creative because he's not doing a note for note. He's not making it sound exactly like Los Lobos or Richie Valens, and it's giving us these nice musical, like it's really the music, the quality of the music, the like Jim West on the mandolin throughout. It's just like it sounds musically so good. And lyrically, it's perfect for a 7-year-old.
yeah, for sure. Like we'll get to how this kind of stacks up in his food oeuvre, his foodvre, as it were. I just coined that portmanteau. That was a sentence. Anyway, yeah. So like it sounds at first like go through like really low hanging fruit, right? Like La Bamba, lasagna, like it's obvious, you know?
Right.
But it works so incredibly well. And I would be remiss if we didn't touch upon his commitment to the accent.
Sure.
Like every single line, even if you just go and look up the lyrics, it doesn't say have some marinara. It says have some marinara. I know what you like. I know what you like, you know?
Yeah.
It's those are just the words. And it's just, you know, fantastic. I really appreciated that he did that. But
and I mean, like, there's like such a tradition of it. Like, you know, it goes back to the Marx Brothers. I literally woke up today and I remembered this song that my grandfather used to play called Shut Up You Face, which is a guy pretending to be Italian and like the chorus is like, it's not so bad, it's a nicer place, shut up you face. and that was a hit in like 1980. So
that's wild. Yeah, I mean yeah, it's right there with it. It's right there with it. You know, and so what I think is really cool is like at first blush, and you'd probably get like a modern listener who would take some umbrage with the Italian accent, to which I say, enjoy life. Like just enjoy life. But like, so it's really rooted in like this old world, like Italian culture, and the fact that he's doing that with like a traditional, you know, folk song, like it makes so much sense. It really truly does make so much sense. But at the same time,
even just like the original Spanish, there's the one line in Spanish that's yo no soy marinero, and it's like that's just begging to be turned into marinara.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, like, come on, lasagna, la bamba, marinero, marinara. Like, it's if he didn't do it, he would have regretted it for the rest of his life. You know, he was like, it was right there. It was right there in front of my face. God. But yeah.
And I do think so there is the sense maybe now that it feels like low hanging fruit or whatever. But I remember as a kid around this time watching like stand-ups on like Star Search or something. And like the joke is always like someone starts to play like La Bamba, and then the punchline is like, what are the words to La Bamba? I don't understand La Bamba. And it's like, that would be the real low hanging fruit. And at least he like pivoted.
yeah, for sure. That's absolutely true. And like, it was just so smart for him to parody this in 1988, like, cause the song was just simply everywhere. Yeah. And to do it this way, it made so much sense. I believe this was the second single off of the album. So that really speaks to, like, this came right after Fat, you know, which you'd think that Fat would come after Lasagna because of all the pasta. But yeah, it was really smart for him to do. And like in true Weird Al fashion, like the second single could not be more different than the first.
Yeah.
You know? and just
I mean, I think like going back to like this being my first full album that I heard as a kid, like I feel like it's all very stylistically diverse. Like it like he's real, you know, I mean they always are, but like just going from like an Oingo Boingo sound to the Italian sound to Michael J, like it's just there was a lot, you know, we think of the 80s as maybe just like one thing, but there were a lot of sounds happening in like 1988.
Yeah, for real. And like that's why, you know, I think just as a human race, we're all very lucky to have somebody like Weird Al who can remind us of like the 80s weren't just one thing. The 90s weren't just one thing. Nothing was ever just one thing. There was always so much going on if you kind of poke around and look for it. People tend to put themselves in the box of the thing that they enjoy. But if you look outside that box, it's like, wait, hold on. And like an album like this would give somebody at the time like, oh wait, there are other things happening out there. Maybe I should check out what that was. You know, I know Weird Al did that for me in a lot of ways with a lot of music that I wasn't familiar with in the first place. And then I went, after hearing Weird Al do a parody or a style parody of something, I go, hold on, maybe I do like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's he's one of those artists that can open you to other artists. Although I also feel like it's the same thing sometimes with like a hip hop sample. Like when you hear the song that has been sampled, you're like, "Oh, that's what it was." Because in the same way, like you already did it, but like You Make Me, when I actually got kind of more into Oingo Boingo besides like maybe Weird Science or whatever, I was like, "Oh, I get You Make Me now. I know, I understand what's happening there."
Yeah. I mean, that's totally what happens, you know. I'm trying to think of one that it took me a really long time, but Germs got me to like, you know what? It was between the song Germs and then also me being a big Howard Jones fan that I kind of understood what Trent was doing with 9 Inch Nails. I was like, oh, okay. But like it took a while, but like once I got there, Germs was my touch point back to like, oh, I've always liked Germs. Now that makes sense. You know? So anyway, I like the song Germs. I don't love like germs in general.
Right.
So you know. I don't know. I feel like this might be a good time to see if we have any do you have any favorite lines in the song?
Let me look at I also pulled up the
lyrics,
lyrics. I did want to say it's actually really funny. So I did basically just come home from work, but on the way home, my girlfriend asked me to pick up some milk. So I went to the grocery store or supermarket rather, and literally within 2 minutes, the radio in the supermarket started playing Los Lobos' La Bamba. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
This is like a weird kismet moment. And I was like, should I like take a video of it? And I'm like, there's no way to capture this. Like, no one would believe that. Yeah, I'm standing in anyhow.
No, that's just a good. Well, you know what? I believe you, and like it's recorded now. So anybody listening to the show, you kind of have to believe him. The man wrote a book. Damn it.
Yeah, why would I fib? There's no reason for me to fib. So here's the line that it's just because of, you know, being a kid who played Super Mario's, or just the fact that he talks about getting roly poly, a nice and a big, like your cousin Luigi. It broke my brain as a kid because I'm like, but Luigi's the skinny one. Why is he saying get nice and big like your cousin Luigi? Anyhow.
Oh, that's funny. No, that is the line that, by the way, every time I listen to the song, I have to like, even if I'm talking over it or something, I have to stop on the Luigi. Like it's just yes, that absolutely gets me. And what I love overall lyrically about this song is that the narrator of the song is really just trying to find an Italian food that the listener would be happy eating.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's very akin to Eat It, but more like, so I had a lot of I'm not religious, but I was raised with old Jewish relatives, and every time you went over, they'd be like, have you eaten? Let me get you some food. And it's like that, where it's just like, how about this? You don't want this? How about this? You want this? You know? So yeah, it's that, because there are some jumps from like zucchini to linguine is quite a jump.
It is. It is. You know, I mean, what is that? Was that, had people started like doing zoodles yet at that point?
Oh, no. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like zoodles is a thing that I've only heard about more recently, but they're not new. But zoodles just boggles the mind. I
Oh, yeah. So zoodles, zucchini noodles, began to gain significant traction in the early to mid 2010s, largely driven by the rise of paleo, gluten-free, and low-carb diets. So this is just kind of, you know, retroactively humorous with zucchini kind of posing as a noodle.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Because I wouldn't have even thought of it as, because I would have thought someone like literally being like, here's a raw zucchini, have at it.
Well, to be fair, one of my favorite appetizers is the fried zucchini, like zucchini straws, and my mom would always do the thing where she'd cut a zucchini kind of like into little circles, and then bread, like she'd dredge in bread and, you know, all that stuff, and then fry them, and then you'd eat them with marinara sauce. So like that always made sense to me because it was like, okay,
Sure.
but you know, that's just kind of how that goes. Yeah,
I only ever got the broccoli covered in shredded cheese. That like, you know, this sounds like a real treat. I feel maybe I should trade my mom in for your mom.
Well, I don't know. She's great. She's great.
Good. Yeah.
She's great. So you had talked a little bit about how you think this is just musically so marvelous, right? And I think we need to touch a little bit on that the solo in the middle and all the little bits that happen in that, both musically and vocally while that's going on. First of all, I think it's a great accordion solo from Weird Al. It's pristine.
Yeah. He's like really ripping, like in the little intro part and in that solo, he's just ripping. Like I agree. It's almost like he's like, well, if I'm not gonna have a polka, I'm gonna shred on this one. Like,
yeah,
let's go.
Yep. This and the accordion solo in Everything You Know Is Wrong are probably two of my favorite, like where he just kind of goes to town on it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And then during that solo too, there's the whole like gargling bit.
Yes. I was actually curious about, I was trying to think if that's something he's ever done before, because it, like, for a long time I had put this out of my mind and I was like, that's such a funny thing to do during Smells Like Nirvana, and then come back to this and I'm like, oh, there was a precursor.
There was a pre-gargle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, so I don't think he'd done it before, but obviously you mentioned he had done it since, yes, either way. But yeah.
Hence and since, yes.
Since, yes. Hence and since, but not synth because it's accordion.
Exactly. Not on this track. No synths here.
No synths here. Yeah, you have to go elsewhere on the album for those kind of things. But yeah, and so getting into kind of the vocal performance and musicianship of this track, like we mentioned before how he absolutely commits to the accent, but like the vocal performance, like he also really commits to it. Like this feels like a really impassioned vocal performance for a song about Italian food.
Right. For just sort of, jumping from food to food. Yeah. No, I mean, that one of the things, it actually kind of didn't make the final cut of the book, but like one of the things that I tried to focus on is that like he is such a committed actor. Like he really kind of like finds his character and like stays with that character all the way through a song. He makes specific choices, as they say in the acting game. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, very specific choices. And like he doesn't fall out of the accent anywhere at all. And like the manja, like he's really into it when he's saying that. And that sounds like somebody who gives a hoot about their food would be if they were presenting it to you and they wanted you to, enjoy it, right? I just think that's absolutely fantastic. And so you had also mentioned that Los Lobos, used accordion a lot in their music, but this isn't like a straight up cover of what it was they're doing,
Yeah.
but somehow the feeling remains, right?
Yeah.
And I will fully admit to the fact that I have no idea what La Bamba is actually about.
I think, I mean, that's one of those things that like I only know the verses that are in the rock song. I feel like the folk song has many more verses or something. But honestly, just on the short little bit and me attempting to, high school Spanish it really just seems like it's mostly about sort of like being macho and dancing. Like, you need a little bit of grace to dance La Bamba. And then in the next verse, I'm not a sailor, I am the captain.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Yes, I am seeing this. Yo no soy marinero, soy capitán. I am not a sailor, I am a captain. According to the internet, it's a celebration of love and dancing, where the bride and groom dance to symbolize their unity, often tying a red ribbon into a bow with their feet whilst dancing.
I didn't know it was like a wedding thing. Oh, interesting. All right.
Wow. Some scholars believe that the song originated in 1683 as a satire of the Spanish viceroy's futile efforts to defend Veracruz from pirate attacks.
Oh, nice.
So
I like that. I like that a lot.
This is a parody of a cover of a traditional song that is a satire. So it's a parody of a satire. Interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, we're going deep.
We really
into
are.
the
We are.
literary levels.
It's true. Like you can't. First of all, I teach college writing. You've written a book. We can't be surface level here. This has to go somewhere, and we have gone all the way back to 16 something.
Yeah. Look, we're not just going spaghetti level. We're going to get down to the linguine. We're going to get down to the calzone,
I might even go so far as our farfalle.
Oh, farfalle. Oh,
Farfalle.
nice.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I will admit, like on the re-listen initially, I was like, oh, that fake Italian accent is a choice. But then I just paused for a moment. I was like, quite often, like when I'm messing around with my friends, I will do like sort of like fake New York Italian. It was like, hey buddy, what's going on? It's like, sometimes it's just fun to put on a voice, and you don't mean anything by it. You're just putting on a voice.
Exactly. If like, first of all, nobody's mad at Super Mario.
Right.
Nobody's mad at this. We just recently had a movie, and we got the likes of Chris Pratt going, "It's a me, Mario." So, like, if that's okay, then this is also okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am so disappointed in Chris Pratt, frankly. Like he just seemed so good in the early days of Parks and Rec, and
I know.
that's a topic for another day. But
Yeah,
gosh,
it truly is, and I fully agree with you. I believe that some people should just stay squishy, because that's where it all went downhill for him, in my opinion. He should have eaten more pasta. He should get a roly-poly, and nice and big, like your cousin Luigi.
Yeah.
Luigi. So, to that, right? I read somewhere that if they're the Super Mario Brothers, does that mean that Mario is the last name, and Mario is Mario, and Luigi is Luigi Mario?
I believe canonically that is correct. Yes.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
So wait, but wouldn't it be great if it was Mario and Luigi?
Oh yeah, that's because it would be. That's fantastic. It's so stupid, but so wonderful.
Yep. But that's the spirit, manji.
I keep doing the thing with my hands and people know what I'm talking when you do it.
You can't not do the hands. I mean,
You gotta.
Marona.
There's there was a WWE wrestler. Oh crap, I'm forgetting his name right now. I have the freaking t-shirt, but I forget what his name is at the moment. Anyhow, when he would come out, he did like a whole Godfather character kind of thing. He never made it to like main TV, but I saw him at like smaller house shows and stuff. And when he would come out, people wouldn't clap. They'd do the hand thing. And I'm at this wrestling show with the and it's at the local armory, so like there's like the wrestlers and like 3 people in the audience, and I mean you know what I mean, it's a tiny little show, but there's this girl next to me. She had to be like 6 years old, and when he came out, she got like deathly serious in her face, and she started doing the thing with her hands like they were all up over her head, and I'm like, she doesn't even know what she's doing. She just knows that that's what you do when he comes out, you know. It's
like a ritual. It's a ceremony. We've got to do this.
It's super fantastic. So like that's what I keep doing this. I've been doing it all day. So one of the notes that I have on here that especially having, you know, written a book about the In 3D album, one of the notes I have in here is talk about how comedy songs only work when the musicians take them seriously.
I mean, that's one of those things that's kind of self-evident, because I feel like that's what really separates the wheat from the chaff, is the people that understand that you need that bedrock of just like excellent musicianship, that you're not phoning it in. And as you talked about, like, I mean, even sing like vocally, Al is not phoning it in with this song. And then that contrast with the just ridiculous lyrics is like, that's the formula. That's what you got to do. I talk a little bit about, you know, some of the people that influenced Al, including Stan Freberg. And like, I think that's what, like, Al got that from Stan Freberg, is just that he would do the voices in a way that would just sort of, like, Stan Freberg put too much mustard on it. Like, he would do it and then zhuzh it too much.
Yeah.
But Al, I think, like, always typically nails it perfectly. Although sometimes he just puts the Al on, is like,
yeah,
you know, just like,
you need that every once in a while though.
Yeah. You got to know Al's in there. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, that's absolutely it. I think that's one of the, so 1988, right? Like, Al had been around for, you know, a little over half a decade. Well, you know, in the main cultural zeitgeist. I just wanted to use the word zeitgeist at this point.
Perfectly used.
Thank you. Yes. And, you know, he's coming off of Polka Party, which did not perform super well, even though I would argue Polka Party is a better album than even most Weird Al fans give it credit for. So I think he had kind of to himself something to prove with this, right? Because Polka Party was the first thing that he did that like didn't really hit the way he wanted it to hit. So he needed something to hit the way that you know, he felt like it should, the way that he, you know, deserved. So I think that's why Even Worse is as stacked as it is with, you know, hits of the day, or you know, it's the tried and true stuff, right? That's probably why this is like the cover album, because, you know, people were having hits with songs that they knew already worked. And so they were going to make them work again. And Al was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do too. I'm going to ride that. I'm going to ride that. Because he took another chance with, you know, Lasagna and La Bamba, because if you recall on Polka Party, he did several songs from movies that did not do well at all. You know?
Yeah. I mean, who's Johnny? Here's Johnny. That's like, right, you know, that's a meatball right over the plate, and just somehow people were like, not for me.
Not for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love that one. And then Toothless People. By the way, the movie Ruthless People is not terrible. It's a little all over the place, but it's watchable. It's very watchable.
I remember seeing it on cable like long time ago, but it's probably been, I don't want to admit how old I guess I said I was 7 when this album came out. Yeah. So it's been probably like over 20 years since I've seen it, but I remember liking it when I was like a teenager or whatever. So
I watched it to prepare for my Toothless People episode because my guest was Robert Yannis Jr. from the Crooked Table podcast, who he's a movie guy. So I was like, well, he picked that song on purpose because it was connected to a movie. And I was like, well, I guess we're going to have to talk about the movie. So I need to watch the movie. Like I need to watch La Bamba. I know I've seen like bits and pieces of it.
Oh, you've never seen the film?
No.
Here's the thing is that like watching it this time, and I realized watching it this time, it's probably like my 7th, 8th time in my life seeing it, is that like it doesn't avoid like all the tropes that you see in something like, Weird, the Al Yankovic story, but
100% factual.
But it isn't doing them in the service of like what feels like utter BS, like talking about, because of the plane crash. The Buddy Holly story is literally a movie I sat through going like, well, that never happened. That never could have happened. That didn't happen, but like this, even if I have to assume some of it's made up, like it all feels so rooted in real people. And the two lead the brother. So it's Lou Diamond Phillips is Richie Valens, and Isai Morales, who was recently in the most recent Mission Impossible movie, as his brother Bob. And it's just the relationship of those two brothers is like, that's what, even talking about right now, I'm getting chills a little bit. Like that's the part that kind of made me well up the whole time, is because like they have such a like tough, real relationship. And then for Bob to lose him at the end, I actually have, this is, sorry for this tangent, but I have a funny story. I went to a Los Lobos show a couple years ago, and spoiler alert, Richie Valens dies at the end of La Bamba.
Yeah, I got that.
But there's a scene of Bob sort of like coping with it, and he just at one point just like yells out, "Richie!" And I'm at this La Bamba show a couple years ago, and there's a guy a couple rows ahead of me who's clearly had at the Los Lobos show, he's clearly had a few drinks, and they start playing some songs from La Bamba. They play La Bamba. I think they play Come On, Let's Go. And the whole time for like 6 straight minutes, he just goes, "Richie!" And I'm like, is he referencing the movie, or is he confused as to who's on stage right now?
Oh my God.
Because he just kept, it was like, Richie's not here and he's not going to respond to you. Like, Richie!
First of all, I love that you did that, because my husband has seen La Bamba, and he is the one who, starting with this album, has done all of the art to accompany each episode. And so he's already done it for the whole album. And he asked me, he goes, "Have you seen La Bamba?" And I said no. And then he goes, "Okay, then you're not going to get the joke, but I'm putting it in the artwork anyway." So I don't remember exactly what this looks like, but Bob is there going, "Richie," in the cover of the episode. So I kind of love that is part of this conversation, because
nice.
it's
Good.
totally there. My husband he was like, "I'm doing this because he goes, that bit always gets me." He goes, "So I'm putting it in the cover art for the episode." And I go, "Okay, whatever. Yeah. I don't care."
Like that's the thing with the guy at the concert. I'm like, either he was really feeling like he's really having a moment, or he's confused. Like
one or the other.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, no, I recommend it. Like I said, like it's probably a bit of a sentimental favorite, but I think it's one of the best music biopics. Like maybe that one, Coal Miner's Daughter. Have you ever seen that one?
I have seen that one. Yes, I've seen that one.
Yeah. I think both of them are nice because it's like, it gives you a lot more of them as people before it gets into them as like famous people. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah, so. Totally get that. Yeah. I do need to watch La Bamba. I've seen a lot of them. I obviously seen Weird, the Al Yankovic story. My husband's a huge Michael Jackson fan, so we've seen Michael in the theaters 4 times now. So,
oh, nice.
It's very, very good. It's very, very good. He wants to go see it a 5th time. I'm going to be like, "You're going to have to find a date."
It is funny. I don't know if Michael has any of this, but there is a moment in La Bamba that I was like, this reminds me of the joke near the end of Weird, where Al's mom has clearly gained weight, and you're clearly like, oh, he's going to be like, this gives me an idea for fat, but and it goes the other way, and he gets the idea for Amish Paradise. Because there is a moment where his mother is like, man, time is just flying by. I get it. We'll call it your flying guitar. And I'm like, okay. That's a moment where I'm like, okay. I know things just come to people sometimes, but it always happens in weird ways in these movies. Have you seen Walk the Line?
Yes.
Okay, the one moment in that really gets me is where there's a shot of Reese Witherspoon as June Carter just sitting alone and just thinking about Johnny, and she just goes, "It burns," and then cut to Ring of Fire as a song. Yeah. And I'm just like, come on. I know people, but like, come on.
No, I know. Where did these ideas come from? I don't even know. Yeah, it's difficult, I think, to show the creative process, right? Because it happens so I feel like people have to take, there's no better way to say this, people have to take creative license with the creative process sometimes when they're showing it in movies, but at the same time that leads you with, that didn't happen that way.
Right.
That didn't happen like that, you know? But speaking of the creative process, word on the street is that Al originally considered writing the parody in Italian.
I love that. I hadn't heard that till you emailed it to me. That is so good. But I'm also glad he didn't, because it would have been a bit hat on a hat. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a really good way to put it. Like, you know, because then he'd have all these jokes in there, but they wouldn't land. So like literally he abandoned the idea because most listeners wouldn't get the joke, you know, because at that point it's just like, well, is this just an Italian cover of La Bamba?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's got to be an alternate universe out there where that happened. And then
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know he doesn't like keep B-sides, and we're never gonna get the like deluxe reissues of his albums. But gosh, I wanna hear the version with Italian lyrics.
Yeah,
that's something I want to hear.
I know. That'd be crazy. I'd like to live in a universe where, you know, we got, you know, 1999 about things being on sale for 1999.
Yes.
And we got the universe where we got chicken pot pie, and the universe where we get lasagna in Italian, you know. Those are going to be like the first handful of things I ask for after I die. I'm going to be like, okay, like if I can get anything, like I would like to hear these things, please, because I've been thinking about them my entire life.
Yeah. Coming right up.
Up. Yeah, that's it. St. Peter's going to be like, that was a weird question. I was like, I'm a weird lady. Like, this is the answer. This is what I want. This is what I want from you, you know? So we're going to start wrapping this bad boy up.
Okay.
Because, you know, I don't even care if listeners know. This is one of those weird times I'm actually on like a time crunch with this episode because I have a work meeting after this. And yes, I'm recording this in the evening, people. So just imagine what my life is like. This is what my life is like. But, you know, this is the opening track of side 2. And, you know, side 1 of Even Worse is super stacked. And like, if you don't have time to go through and listen to all of the episodes about side 1, I conveniently, on the flip side of every album, do a recap with Insane Ian, where we kind of go through the whole thing at once and talk about the entire side. But if you're listening to this episode, you've probably heard side 1 of Even Worse, so you know what I'm talking about. But like, just imagine, you know, you get through, you know, Fat and you Make Me, and I Think I'm a Clone Now, and all this stuff, and then you flip the record over and it starts with that accordion like cadence into this, and you're like, now this is the guy that I know. Right? But
it's also so grand, like that just that interesting figure, but you know, it just really brings it's like a curtain parting for act 2 of a play.
It is like this song for Dare to Be Stupid, my husband and I, we dared to resequence, because one of my problems with the Dare to Be Stupid album is the sequencing. Side 1 is stacked, side 2 is, I don't use the word garbage, but side
Yeah.
2 is not great. Like side 1 of Dare to Be Stupid is a great EP, but
Yes.
if the album were
Can
resequenced, go
can I
ahead.
say this to you real quick?
You
Just
can.
yeah. So a friend of mine wrote a 33 and a third book on Elvis Presley, and he's the one that's sort of been coaching me through like this whole process. And he said to me, you know, the only thing I would have done different is I would have picked Dare to Be Stupid because that's his best album. And I held my tongue, but I'm like, it's got some of his best songs, but as a full album, I don't know.
Ding, 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 ding. Or
Nice.
look at that. I got to push 2 buttons today. But no, like that's the thing. So, you know, if anybody's inclined, go into the back catalog of this podcast because we resequenced Dare to Be Stupid in a way that is a more balanced album, in my opinion. Anyhow, side 1 of Even Worse is super stacked, but there's still so much more payoff on side 2. Like there's so many great tracks on side 2 of Even Worse as well, right? So like you don't get that like buzzkill like you do on Dare to Be Stupid on this one, right? So I'm going to ask you. You chose to talk about lasagna. Do you like lasagna? The food.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I think that I have had some disappointing rubbery lasagnas in my life, but I've also had some perfectly cooked, nicely layered, cheesy, delicious lasagnas. So I think it really, you know, pasta seems like it can be easy, but I think it depends on the chef. It really depends on the chef.
That's very true. Yeah. This is very inside baseball, mostly just for me. But I have a friend who knows somebody who's opening an Italian restaurant here in Jacksonville, where I live, and he asked for her lasagna recipe to put on the menu. So she's like so excited that her lasagna is going to be on the menu. And as of the recording of this, tomorrow we're going to the soft opening of this restaurant, and I get to try some lasagna.
Oh, that's excellent. I'm excited for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it too. So did you have any closing thoughts? Anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't?
No, I think that this is a song that I've always been excited about because of the accordion. It's funny too because like Even Worse being my first Weird Al album, I didn't realize a polka was missing. But I think like I've always been drawn to the sound of Al's accordion playing. So yeah, it's just great that there's such a nice showcase for it here. And also like Jim West's mandolin playing, like he's really killing it. Cause also like, yeah, the original Los Lobos has the rock version, and then they do their own sort of little more folky breakdown at the end that has some nice mandolin on it. So it seems like there's a nice dialogue going between, even if it's not 1-to-1, there's a nice dialogue going between the original, in quotes, the cover original and the Weird Al take. So
yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I think it was perfectly placed. One of my notes is this underrated compared to Fat? And I think I'm a clone now. And I don't know why I wrote that. I was just trying to come up with things to talk about if we didn't have things to talk about, but we did a very good job. But if you're looking at the single chronology for Weird Al, Fat was the first one off of Even Worse, then Lasagna, then I Think I'm a Clone Now. So those are the 3 singles off of Even Worse. And I think it's interesting that Lasagna comes between what arguably are the 2 bigger. I don't know. Was I Think We're Alone Now a bigger hit than La Bamba?
Gosh, that's so hard to say. Like I feel like they were both like so present in my childhood. Like, yeah. I think you've said that you're more of a Debbie Gibson person than a Tiffany person.
I am.
I was too. So I don't totally know about the Tiffany ascendance into to everyone's hearts. But yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm with you. I'm with you there. I was such a big Debbie Gibson fan as a child that my mother would call me Deborah, and to this day, if my mom says Deborah, I will answer. That's not my name, but if my mom goes Deborah, I'll go what?
That's so funny.
So, you know,
I'm actually surprised. For some reason I thought 6 words long was a single too, but I guess it's just a fan favorite or something. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it was a really big parody off of the album, but yeah, not a single, not an actual single. There's only 3 singles off of Even Worse. And I'm double checking. I don't. Okay, yeah. That's it. So anyway, yeah, I had to look it up.
Yeah,
but that's
maybe it was the whole 6 words, 7 words controversy. They're like, you know what? Let's not get into it. We'll just let the people who have the album figure it out for themselves.
Yes. Yeah. All those word counters out there. Like, come on now, get with the program. But yeah, Justin, thank you so much for being here and talking about Lasagna with me. Now that I know that UHF is your favorite Weird Al album, I will be in touch to talk about something off of that for sure. I do have a handful of tracks already claimed by people who have already talked to me, but there's wide open spaces.
Yeah, there's like 13 tracks on that one. We could talk about Gandhi too. Why not?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So there's part of me that wants to see if I can make really long episodes out of like the really short things that happen. Like coming up later on this album we have Twister, and it's gonna be me and my husband and my stepson. And I was like, okay, guys, we're gonna talk for like 2 hours about Twister, and they're gonna have to do it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is
hold their feet to the fire. Make them do it.
I'm gonna make them do it. It's gonna happen. Okay. So, like, you heard it here, people. The Twister episode's gonna be long AF. Yeah. Anyway, Justin, thank you so much for being here. Yeah. And when and where can people get your in 3D book? I know you said
so. The current release date, pending like presses going awry or whatever, is November 12th. So right in time for Christmas shopping. It's a perfect stocking stuffer side. Please stuff your stockings with or stock the stuffing in your cupboard. Do what you need to do. Yeah. With this. So if you go to my website, justinremer.com, REMER, it's a palindrome, kind of like Bob. I have a link to the bookstore where it's my day job. I work at a bookstore in Los Angeles called Skylight Books. And if you order from there, I can make sure to get you a copy that's signed. I'm also having some exclusive bookmarks and stickers made. I'll get you some swag. So if you order from there, I'll get you those things. If you otherwise just want to order from your local bookshop or, a retailer that's not owned by Jeff Bezos, or even if you have to, if you're in the middle of nowhere and you have to work with Jeff Bezos.com, feel free. But yeah, November 12th. I hope it's a big fun Christmas release for everyone. The thing that I always keep forgetting to say that is like the major selling point, I did get to talk to Al for the book.
Cool.
I did get to talk to Bermuda Schwartz for the book, and Bermuda Schwartz gave me 10 photos that he cut out of his black and white book from the time.
Oh, rock and roll. Awesome.
So there's some exclusive photos in this book. So
that's awesome.
You completist nerds, please get this book. It's good. Even if you don't like my words, look at Bermuda's photos. They're great.
Yeah. Well, I for sure know that I'm going to be going to justinremer.com, REMER, it's a palindrome, to order my copy because I like having signed things. So I'm going to make you sign one for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Totally.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for being here. This was a fabulous discussion. Next time on the Beard Owl podcast, we're going to have repeat offender and friend of the show, Noah, from, quote, I Know a Guy fame. That's because, he's my friend Noah. He's marvelous. We're going to be talking about Melanie. And, always a good time. Noah's a smart cat, that's for sure. And we have a good time talking about Weird Al. So in the meantime, as Weird Al says, be kind, bring joy, repeat.